Hello everyone, today we're talking about Roach Forest. It got me up to Diamond Group, and think so far I'm at around like 80% win rate if you minus off this private match. Yeah, I'm at around 80% win rate, and so let's get into it. So this is the list. Here's a QR code, and I'll share a deck code for it later on in the description. So as you can see, it costs less than 20,000 vows, just slightly over 19. I would say this is probably one of the cheapest decks you can build right now. So getting into which cards are important, I would say all 5 gold cards are super important. Lily really helps clearing the board, like setting a defense to 1, all your fairies have rush, setting defense to 1, insta clear something with a fairy. Roach, this is your win con. Godwood Staff is probably one of the best cards in the deck. It helps you maintain card advantage. Glade is a very good board clear. Your hand is usually filled with 7 to 8, maybe most of the time even 9 cards. So that's just deals 9 to the board. Of note, Glade does damage from the right. You might see it more in the gameplay later on, but the damage it deals is not random. It always goes from right to left for your opponent's board. And Bale, potentially 0 cost, deal 4 damage to a follower, great for clearing ward, a very good tempo play. I would say the main things that's up for debate for changing are these 4 cards. Right now in the meta, there's a lot of Storm, so I feel like Arian is pretty good, especially against Swordcraft. Like it doesn't get cleared by Albert, but these 4s are the ones that I would consider changing. Specifically these 3. I've gone between 1 or 2 copies. I think either one works for you because giving your Fairy Storm really helps chip away damage for your Roach kill. However, if you do draw both, it's kind of a break because after drawing the first one, the second one doesn't do much. Stray Beastman increases your combo by 1. Sometimes your board is completely filled, and it's potentially I've had a game where I couldn't clear my fairies because the opponent didn't have anything, and I just needed a card that gives extra combo basically, and for the Roach kill, and that's why I have it here. Olivia, great card, but I had a few games where I drawn both of them, and so I put it down to 1. I feel that whenever I draw these big costed card, it always feels bad. So I think up for debate are probably these 5 only. I don't think I would change the rest of the list. Like maybe you can take out a Stray Beastman and put in another copy of Arya. Maybe you can take out Stray Beastman, put in a copy of Olivia. Maybe even take out 1 Stray Beastman, 1 Fey Twinkle, and put in a copy of each. I think that's up to your personal playstyle. Like for me, I don't typically have very good luck with drawing cards, so drawing bricks suck. So that's what I've elected to play at the moment. I know some of you are probably like a bit intimidated by this deck because of the lines, the mats, and all that stuff required by Roach. Just to reiterate, Roach gives this follower plus X plus 0. X is your combo. So this is including playing Roach. So if you played 2 cards before Roach, then you come down as a 3-2. So let me explain the maths a little bit with algebra. Okay, don't be intimidated by the numbers, but it's actually very simple. Essentially, you just have to remember, if you have 2 Roach, specifically if you have 2 Roach, because most of the time if you're aiming for lethal, you will have 2 Roach, whether it's be from having 2 Roach in hand or having 1 Roach with Godwood Staff. Anyways, if you have 2 Roach, your total damage is 2n plus 3 plus any additional damage. This could be from evolving, super evolving, even the +1/+1 from Lambert. So always remember, this your total damage is 2n plus 3. So if an opponent has 16 HP left, I would need to have 5 combo, meaning and playing 2 Roach costs 2 PP. sorry, cost 6 PP. So you must be able to do 5 combo before spending 6 PP. For example, this. So you can look here. I have 8 play points. So if I subtract the cost of playing 2 Roach, I have 2 play points. So in my head, I need to think about the best combo I can do with 2 play points. So I can see that I can play 1 Deep Wood, 2 Bales, 2 Fairies, and that would cost exactly 2 play points. So that would give me 16 damage if I can super evolve, which I can. And if you add on Lambert, which gives a +1/+1, and that's it. I have lethal. I'll show you guys this gameplay later on and what I did for basically setting up all of this. For playing this deck, you try your best to think ahead and try to best to save your 0 cost for a turn like this. So yeah, now that we have the mats out of the way, let's go into matchups. So for Artifact Porter, this is probably the most popular deck at the moment. It's very important to apply pressure at the start and understand that their big plays come from turn 5 and turn 8. So you gotta always be ready for Orcus. You have to think about what to do with Orcus. They can be playing 2 Bale, a Glade, but you have to take care of Orcus somehow. Mulligans, I found Lily or Glade to be really good against Aleto and Orcus. Since Glade clears from right to left, Orcus will always be cleared, and technically you could just use Glade to bump into Lloyd itself, or honestly you could even just leave Glade alone. Well, Lily on combo 3 turns Orcus to 1, but you will still have to deal with Lloyd first before you can use Lily on Orcus. For Rune, it's good to aggro them early on. They essentially don't do anything until turn 5. They might play a few followers here and there, but turn 5 is only when they start playing more relevant things like Anne and Greya specifically. Before that, it's honestly free game. It's important for the mid game when they can play Anne and Greya and Kuon that you find ways to control the board and go for lethal. A lot of times it could be letting one Kuon go off, but potentially just dealing with the ward and then going for lethal right away after. Oh, and one important thing for the matchup is that Glade will always deal with Greya. Glade deals damage to the follower that comes in first, and the summoning only comes in after Greya. So Glade's evolve ability would always hit Anne and Greya. Moving on to Swordcraft. For this one, generally you do play a more controlled playstyle. It's very important to not let yourself drop below 12 HP, because that's Albert lethal range. You can see that they'll always keep a super evolve point for Albert specifically, so use that to your advantage how you would. I would say the main problem with Swordcraft and why it's a bit of a tough matchup is Amalia. It's the 8 cost that summons 4 wards. It itself is 6, so Glade doesn't typically go through it, especially if it's super evolve, which becomes a 9/9. I would say that's the hardest part if they do play multiple Amalias in a row, but if they don't, should be a pretty easy game for you. Don't be afraid to use heals to go above 12 HP. You have the heal from Lambert, you have the heal from Arena. Those two are very important to save you from the Albert 12 damage. Moving on to the Roach Mirror. So it's very, very important to just chip in damage. Clear the board, but also chip in as much damage as possible. This is probably one of the... So in the first one, we are fighting Porter. I'm always not sure with Porter because most of the time it's Artifact Porter, but it could be Puppet Porter. And for Puppet Porter, we really have to rush the clock because once they reach Liam on turn 10, they get a lot of wards, and so we really have to be careful about that. And so let's just watch the stream. So nothing on turn 1 by our opponent, and so I'm just chilling as well. So he plays a Love Shot Puppeteer, so this could still be either. And so for me, I'm just thinking about controlling the board first. Alright, he plays a puppet theater, and now I know that this is basically puppet control. So now I have to be worried about their turn 8 and turn 10. Those are the big turns for puppet. I get a Lily, which is pretty good for Orcus. So again, I'm just trying to control the board here. Like play May to deal with a feudal, and then I'm evolving, and I'm okay. So I don't evolve. So now I'm looking for his turn 8 and turn 10 play. I'm thinking to maybe push more damage in, to maybe go for lethal before that. Yeah, in this scenario, I played this because I'm looking at their next turn 5 cost. They don't really have any big thing to play on 5 costs. So I thought that, hey, maybe making this one 2 would be no problem, because maybe they have the assassin, maybe hey, they have the another love shot puppeteer, but they shouldn't be able to get rid of my entire board without evolving. And so yeah, not evolving here is potentially pretty bad for them, because again, like they could have cleared if they evolve, but they were saving their play points for Liam and Orcus. Puppet control likes to just not use any evolve points unless they really have to, and they probably want that scale of a 1-3, but they should have cleared this because I can potentially draw a card from this and I can start pushing for damage, which is what I'll be doing. I knew I was very lucky that I was gonna get a fairy generator, and that could and that would basically help me kill the assassin. So I'm just drawing cards because I can see, hey, like, one moment. Yeah, so in this turn, I'm just drawing cards because potentially next turn they can play Orcus. So I'm just drawing cards, trying to go for lethal next turn because I see his 17 HP. It's doable. I'm just drawing as many cards as I can to see my options if I can go for lethal next turn. So you can see this is basically the hand I showed you previously. And so with this, remember, I have APP, 2M plus 3. I could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And that would give me 13 damage, plus a super evolve, and plus number is exactly 17. And so you can watch me play it out. Let me speed that up. On to the next game. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this game was against an artifact porter. Having got good stuff at the start, pretty good. Let me speed up the first few turns. So typical turn 2 for Artifact Porter. I decide, hey, I can probably let this go. So I just play this and proceed to clear the board this turn. Setting up the god, because I set up the godwood stuff just because I knew this turn I could clear with May. And so that's exactly what I do. So it's also always good to like keep track of how many artifacts they have already. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So they have 5 already. Gamma, they could have built either one of the 5 cards already at this point. So it's important to keep that in mind. So with this, since I have Lily, I know that I can clear it with just Fairy and Lily, and I decide to push for damage. This is because they didn't play Auletto this turn, the previous turn, and they could potentially play Auletto this turn. And if I make May big enough, a 5/5, Auletto once evolved is only a 4/6, so they have to play Gamma to be able to clear it. They didn't have Auletto, but again, we planned for that even if they did have it, because they will only be able to clear if they had Gamma. And Gamma was easy to deal with because we had a May in hand. So it will play out basically the same if they played Auletto with Gamma. Let me speed this part up. So yeah, Auletto's in. As expected, they played Gamma. So this is where I try to push for a little bit more damage. Again, any chip damage helps. Like 3 damage doesn't feel like a lot, but like it helps in the long run. So we talked about like the turn 8 Orchis play, but I knew this was coming up, and so I could either play Bale or Glade depending on the situation. So yeah, like I said, Glade deals damage from the right, so you can see it'll be 4, 8, and 1. So I'm just pumping it up just to deal damage to prepare to go for the kill later on, because if they play another Orchis here, like I just have to do with 1 ward, which I can do with Bailey and a fairy potentially, and the 2 fairies, and I can try to go for the lethal. So I was having that in mind. And yeah, so that's game. If they play another Orchis, I could play Bale, Fairy, and 2 Roach, and that would still be the game. So on to the last game for the day. This game is kind of just to showcase what it means to go aggro against Rune. So he doesn't play anything at turn 2, which got me thinking he doesn't really have much to play. All his things are big cost, probably like things like Kuon and Angrea. So I play Lee even though there's nothing for me to combo, because anything he can play now is most likely a 2/2 anyways. And so it's unlikely unless he plays the deal a single target deal damage spell card, but I was pretty sure he wasn't going to waste it on just a 1/3, so that's why I played Lily. He tries to draw for something, and so again, there's nothing on the board. And so I decided to go a bit more aggressive. He tries to heal, and for some reason doesn't destroy my Lily. And so this is where I really go ham, I start to think about his next play. Most likely, like considering he played nothing in his hand, he has N and Greya. He almost certainly has N and Greya. And so, N after evolve is a 6/6, the summoning is a 5/5, and he can deal 3 damage. So, let me show you what I proceed to do. So the reason why I did this is because if she just plays N and Greya next turn, she'll basically have to hit this twice or use... She'll only be able to either clear this or and clear one other tick at most. So because N and Greya is 6/6 and the summoning is 5/5, she would have to use the evolve ability on this and clear with the 5/5 and maybe just clear this, which would open up more damage for me to chip in later on, because since I have a Roach in hand already, N2/0/0, I'm looking to end this quick. I'm not planning to let it reach 7 play points for him to play cooldown anymore, and he will not be able to play anything with Ward before then, aside from N and Greya. And I have Fairies and May already for that because it's 1/1 and 3 damage, so that would deal with the Ward. And so that's why I was thinking on, and that's why I evolved Lily, and that also allowed me to draw a card. And so yeah, he doesn't play N and Greya, and so yeah, he recognizes the writing on the wall and he just surrenders. So yeah, everybody, that's the guide. Let me know how you liked it. Let me know if you have anything you'd like to discuss, any questions, and let me know which deck you would like me to try and make a guide on. Anything else I can improve as well, so subscribe for that. I'm thinking of making maybe an artifact porter deck. There are the tournaments coming out over the next weekend. Maybe I'll make a video about that as well. Subscribe, like, and share me your thoughts. Comment down below. Oh, and also don't forget, I'll also be pasting the deck code in the description as well if you want to just copy and paste this deck.